Welcome back to the Chapter Chats and Chill podcast.
Your cozy reading nook where we talk everything about books, tropes, fave characters, and more. This is Elena.
This is Marwa.
And Emma, and we invite you to get comfortable, grab a cup of tea or coffee, and get ready to enter a world where stories come true.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our virtual monthly book club. For today's episode, we'll be talking about our February read, which is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is a spoiler-free episode, so if you haven't read the book yet, don't run. You're in a safe space, and hopefully we'll give you a good reason to pick up this novel as your next read. I have to say, girls, that these are my favorite episodes to record. I just love hearing your thoughts about the books we've read. But first things first, let's talk about the title. I don't know about you, but I just love how poetic and catching it sounds. Like you can sense all the tension and the drama from just these two words, and I love it.
Same. I really liked it as well, but I think like for me, I was expecting a totally different thing at first. Sometimes, not always, but like sometimes I like to start reading a book without reading the synopsis. And when I first heard about Divine Rivals, I thought it was about like gods. And there are gods, but I thought like the gods were the protagonists of the duology. But it was, I would say, a pleasant surprise to be introduced to the whole story, the gods and the humans, and how they kind of lived in the same world. So, yeah, I love the title as well.
Same. I didn't expect it to be like that either, to be honest,
Right?
because I haven't read the synopsis either, so I
Mm.
was pleasantly surprised.
Same. And I also love the all gods part and the fact that in a way the title is kind of unfolded in the book towards the end, kind of, at least the word divine. I love all these like little connection in the book
Yes.
that also are connected with the title, and I think it's so clever.
As you said, the timing is also perfect. Like it's explained a little bit more towards the end. So you're always kind of trying to guess, like, where is this element of divine, from the title? And yeah, it's very clever of the author to kind of do these little tricks here and there in the book. If you haven't like heard about the book or you don't know anything about it, we've already kind of gave a couple of hints about what you can find in the book, but let's just quickly read together the synopsis so you know like what the plot is, because I think it's very interesting synopsis. After centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again. But 18-year-old Iris Wino just wants to hold her family together. Her mother is suffering from addiction and her brother is missing from the front lines. Her best bet is to win the columnist promotion at the Oath Gazette. To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door, where they vanish into the hands of Roman Keat, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. When he anonymously writes Iris back, the two of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle for her brother, the fate of mankind, and love.
Ooh. Do we need to say more?
No, I don't think so.
By the way, Roman is boyfriend material, guys. So
oh my God, yes, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Like I'm still a little bit bummed about that little secret throughout a portion of the book, but honestly, like it's impossible not to like even forget about that part or forgive him at the very least. Like, yeah, wow, boyfriend material.
I also really liked the themes of the book and the genre in general. I'm a fan of historical fiction and I'm a sucker for fantasy stories. And to have a book that combines both is just wonderful.
That's true. It doesn't happen quite often to have a fantasy that
No.
it's also a historical fiction,
Yeah.
right? Do you know any other books that are like fantasy and historical fiction too?
I remember I've read a couple of synopses that were kind of a historical fiction with magical elements, but I can't remember any. We'll create a post if we can, if we find anything to recommend you guys. Or if you're listening and you have any recommendations of very good historical fiction fantasy books, then maybe leave them in the description, the comment section, whatever that is. That would be very much appreciated.
Exactly.
As always. But I think, like, for me, I was a little bit surprised to think of this book as a fantasy because there is the element of magic, but it's not like the classical fantasy books that I've been reading a lot of, like with fays or uncommon creatures. But was definitely like an interesting experience, and it's so nice, I think, to find a book that is different from what you've been reading from here and there. So this is
Yeah.
a plus to Rebecca Ross for creating this beautiful world. For me, like also other themes that I really enjoyed reading about, but I think could be also like not a disclaimer. How is it called? Like when at the beginning of a
Trigger warning.
yes, thank you. Like a trigger warning for people that want to get into this book would be the element or the theme of loss and grief and war for sure, because I think the author does a very good description of even the details of war. There are trenches and some moments are set really at the front lines. I think the author Rebecca Ross beautifully described all of these elements and themes throughout the book, but at the same time, yeah, they might be a little bit heavy for some people. So it's important, I think, to know that you will read about these before starting the book.
Yeah, sure, I agree. The scenes were very realistic. I mean, it was so heartbreaking at times. Oh,
It's surreal, actually.
yes.
But it's also a story about love, which we adore.
Yeah, and friendship and family.
Mm.
Mm.
Found family as well. I think it was a very like nice element to the story, and
Totally.
it kind of beautifully complements the element of loss. But I don't want to say too much in this
Yeah, I think
spoiler-free
this is
version. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Let's go in the spoiler part.
yes.
Yes, that's why you have to listen to it, guys, if you want to know
Mhm.
more.
Next
True.
week. I usually have a look at your ratings on Goodreads, but I haven't for this book yet. So, what was your overall rating of the book?
For
Like, how many
me,
stars?
it's a solid 4 out of 5 stars. It contains all the ingredients for a good story, in my opinion. A catchy writing, some plot twists, and the cliffhanger at the end.
Mm.
Also, it's a soft romance, aka without smut in it, which is appreciated from time to time because,
Mhm.
it's not the center of the story. How about
True.
you, Elena?
I completely agree with you. And I give to the book 4.5 because, as you say, the story is like on point, but there is something that is missing that
Mm.
I'm going to talk about in the spoiler part because you can feel it when it's a 5 star or 6 star book.
Agreed.
But this book had everything, but still there was something missing.
Mm,
Just a tiny
100%.
little
yeah.
bit, but it was
Yeah.
really good.
I completely agree with you, girls. And I think for me, like when I first finished reading the book, I gave it 3.5 stars because it was a little bit like I loved the story, I loved the plot, but and also the reading experience. It was very, very pleasant, but I still felt like there was something missing, as you said, Elena. And I was also kind of bummed at certain plot twists that I like. They're good, they're very good, but also like personally, it was so frustrated. We're getting into that part in the
I
next
know what you
episode
mean.
for sure. But then I have to say, so yesterday I was rereading like my favorite quotes from the book. And I believe this might be one of the books that when you reread it like a second time, it's even better than the first time. I was rereading these quotes and the storytelling and the emotions were like so good that I think I will give it a 4 stars actually.
Hey.
And I think this book has one of the best quotes ever.
Mm,
Like
Yes.
how the author write and create
Mhm.
the sentence. I haven't seen this kind of written kind of
Mhm.
style any other books except from Lee Bardugo, but it's different. Like
Mhm.
I totally loved.
I don't know. I think it's also like so interesting because it's a book written by the author, of course, but then the writing changes so much because you have letters written by the main protagonists, right? And I think the
mhm.
author does such a good work in kind of changing the tone of voice depending on who's writing the letters. And so it's kind of reading like a piece of art that is written by three people almost sometimes. I don't know. That's how I felt. And so I think
Yeah, I know
that's
what you mean. Mhm.
so unique. Do you have like favorite quotes that are maybe spoiler free?
I have one right here. So it goes like, Do you ever feel as if you wear armor day after day? That when people look at you, they see only the shine of steel that you're so carefully encased yourself in? They see what they want to see in you, the warped reflection of their own face, or a piece of the sky, or a shadow cast between buildings. They see all the times you've made mistakes, all the times you've failed, all the times you've hurt them or disappointed them, as if that is all you will ever be in their eyes. How do you change something like that? How do you make your life your own and not feel guilt over it? This one is so powerful. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
how about you girls? Do you have any quotes?
Well, I do have like a simple one, short and sweet.
Go ahead.
It is, of course, you would have one of those sorts of laughs, the ones you couldn't hear and not feel in your own chest.
Oh, this
It's
one is
just
so cute indeed.
Yeah.
I also have one, and is I don't think you realize how strong you are, because sometimes strength isn't stored in steel and fire, as we are so often made to believe. Sometimes it's found in quiet and gentle places.
I love
Ooh.
it. I picked that one as well. Love it. And like my comment, because I also wanted to remember which part of the book, or at least who said the quote to whom. And so, like, my comment to these quotes was in brackets, Roman to Iris, and like 1,000 exclamation marks. Like, we have male characters that say these things. So romantic. I mean, do you need any more convincing than this?
The fact that they are both kind of journalists, it's a really good
Mm.
plus to the book. When I was younger, like in high school, that was kind of my dream job. But
Same.
I know.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to do journalism actually, but
Mm.
unfortunately never got to pursue that career. So reading about fictional characters like this, it always hit a soft spot,
Hmm.
which is a plus.
Yeah, for sure. You can find the details of the book in the description of the episode. And in the next episode, we will go over all the details and theories and spoilers of the book. So if you've already read it, then you might want to stay tuned for that. And if you're about to read it, in a week, we will discuss the nitty-gritty of it. So yeah, stay tuned.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into Chapter Chat and Chill.
If you loved this episode, make sure you give it a 5-star rating, thumbs up, and comment below what you want to hear next.
To stay connected in between episodes, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Chapter Chats and Chill.